Superintendent search, I'm going to ask Scott to report out on that.
Well, and with Ms. Johnson, who chaired the meeting, as I mentioned earlier, we had a really good turnout. The big things that this board needs to decide very, very soon, if not tonight, is how we want to move forward with this search. In terms of, there are 3 options on the table. Well, there's more than that, but basically it comes down to, do we do a national search? And if so, do we look at outside representation to do that national search? And that was the chief discussion at the meeting, and it needs to be the chief discussion here.
And while we're on that topic, I'd like to call an executive meeting, a special meeting at 5 o'clock on Thursday for board members.
It's coming Thursday.
Yes, this coming Thursday. And primarily to discuss, you're really busy, aren't you?
Yes, I am. So, sometimes it'd be nice to take a poll to see when we might be able to attend. I'm not guaranteed to be here at 5:30 on Thursday. We'll be at 5 o'clock on Thursday. 5:30 is always better, but it would be nice to check to see how we can make it. Not everybody's retired.
I don't retire very well. I've been working. All right, guys, 5 o'clock or 5:30, either. 5:30. Let's do 5:30.
5:30 is fine.
And what's the purpose of the meeting?
Purpose of the meeting is to talk about the superintendent search. I think we need to put together a piece of paper that explains how we're going to do it, and then we can disseminate to the community.
Okay, so it sounds like you're at it already, that there is not going to be a public, you have not gotten a full report of the meeting as it was on last Saturday. And part of what Scott just mentioned was that we need to just establish a timeline and how we're going to pay for this and all this other stuff. That is not an executive committee meeting. It has to be a public meeting. Has to be public.
Well, we're going to have an executive committee meeting. Okay, let's talk about it.
Well, we cannot violate the law. Mr. Attorney, are you listening?
I am.
So are we just going to just go from here on, go willy-nilly, or are we going to follow procedures as they should be had?
You have been, along with Scott, running this search committee stuff without the input of everybody else. And we need to catch up with you a little bit.
Well, if you would listen to what we went through on Saturday, and Julie has...
You know what? I was watching my grandson graduate from college in Iowa.
And I was not informed of the reason why you were not at the meeting, but there were 5 of the current board members who are here who just were seated there.
Was Mr. Zimmers?
No, Mr. Zimmers informed me that he would be in the city of Chicago. I did not hear from you as you went about arranging how you were going to run the board. And I don't want to be contentious with you, but you are being disrespectful to the rest of us. And we are all elected officials. Each and every one of us were elected by a constituency.
Yep, I agree.
And so if we're going to have a democracy, then I would say that we should have dialogue. And I'm going to suggest this, because if you paid any attention to previous boards, there have been, what I have said, meetings held on the side. There must have been something held on the side in this particular case, because when we came in here, it had already been decided that you were going to be running for president. Fine and well. But you are not the dictator of this board, and we must run this board in a way that will be beneficial to the education of children and not beneficial to whatever Bob Flamini and et cetera have in mind. Now, I mean, we just have got to get along. And you just can't come in here and just tell us this and tell us that. That's not the way it works. We are elected. We are not your employees. We are each elected and entitled to a say.
Tried to call a meeting, didn't need that 10-minute lecture.